Hey y'all, this is Philippe the Learn to Grow guy. Guess where I'm at? I'm actually at the Fort Lauderdale beach to talk about seawater. Okay, what are the benefits of seawater? Well, let's talk about it for a sec. Seawater is actually very good for your garden. However, key thing to remember, you have to dilute it at a ratio of 1 to 30, okay? You can do a little bit less. You can do a little bit more if you want, but you have to dilute it because otherwise all of your plants will not be like tomatoes or beets as to where it can actually handle the salt content that you may actually have in seawater. See the seagull? Well, not a seagull. It's one of the ones with the deep, long throats. Anyway, if you don't dilute it, you're going to kill your plants, okay? Like I said, there's basically 2 plants that I can think of off the top of my head, but there are other plants that can actually tolerate the high salt content in seawater. Okay, so like I said, you have to dilute it. Once you dilute it, you can water your plants with it. I would say no more than once a month no more than once a month, okay? Well, no less than once a month. I'm saying that because, again, some plants don't want to tolerate the amount of seawater. You can actually ultimately end up killing some of your plants with the seawater that you're watering with. So, what are the benefits of seawater? Well, seawater actually contains between 60 and 90 different micronutrients, okay? That would include all the various minerals that you're looking at, and all of those are actually things that are missing in the gardens that we have because our soils have been so depleted by farming. Conventional farming, that is, okay? Now, what does that mean? Well, what that means is that conventional farming, they've used the minerals, basically your calcium, potassium, nitrogen. They've used those so much as to where the gardens remain highly salted. And at the same time, the stuff actually kills a lot of the microorganisms that would normally live in your garden. So which means that you're left with dirt and not really soil to grow good enough to grow stuff into. Which is why a lot of us have issues with our gardens as to where the soil is not as rich as it should be. That's where there are lots of minerals that are missing out of the soil because everything's been over-farmed. Now, in using seawater in your gardens and such, what that does is that it actually helps replenish some of that missing micronutrients, even some of the macronutrients. Seawater basically has, I believe it has 6 macronutrients. That would include sodium and chloride, calcium, magnesium, potassium, and I forget what the last one is. But it actually comprises of all of those. Those actually make up to 99% of what seawater is. So, how does seawater actually benefit your garden, your plants and such, okay? Well, basically all those missing micronutrients that has been missing out of your soil, as the seawater can actually help replace some of that, okay? I'm not saying it's the only way, but as it helps replace some of that, what you're going to end up with is healthier plants that are better tasting, plants that are resistant to both disease as well as pests. That's the situation that you want to get your plants involved in. You want to get your plants the best stuff in the soil that you can get them so they can do the best that they can. Now, in collecting the seawater, I'm going to be showing you, I'm going to be adding some various clips. So you're going to see me with more hair on my face. You're going to see me with different colored shirts, okay? But nonetheless, it's still me, okay? It's still me. But I'll show you how I collected my water and what containers that I used and such. But the bottom line is to incorporate a little bit of seawater. If you're going to be going someplace as to where the sea is, get some seawater. Dilute it some. Water your plants. Do it about once a month. Okay, and add some of those micronutrients back that's been missing since the land and such has been, I don't want to use strong words, but since a lot of the minerals and vital stuff has been stripped out of the land, this is one way of putting stuff back into the land, okay? Besides watering them, besides watering your gardens directly with it, you can also, put some of that stuff into your compost. Okay, put some of that stuff into your compost. And if you're going to put that into your compost, might as well use that compost to help inoculate whatever biochar you're going to make. Again, get the stuff out of the seeds and get into your garden, into your plants, so that you can have better, stronger, healthier plants. You have seen me mention seawater in previous videos, like the one where I showed you me making, what is that, weed tea? So it was an abbreviated version. You didn't see me picking the weeds, but nonetheless, I believe I mentioned that I did add some seawater into it. I've been collecting seawater whenever I come down to Florida and stuff like that. Any place where there's a sea, wherever there's sea, so I can have stuff that I can actually add to my to my compost pile, to watering the gardens, to when I'm making weed tea, even compost tea. I'll try to sneak a little bit of seawater in there also. But put as much stuff as you can into your into whatever it is that you're doing. Replace as much of the minerals as possible. Okay. Now let's take a quick look here. All I can tell y'all, seawater, use it or not, but the bottom line is get trace minerals back into your soil. Y'all take care.